don't have to agree with me, but you do have to be respectful, and you need to come with facts, data, and scientific studies. I'm an intellectual, not a race baiter, and I'm certainly not a social justice warrior, okay? I am an advocate for my rights and your rights, all people's rights. But I see crap and I'll call it out as it may. Furthermore, racist comments, insensitive comments, just plain disrespectful comments will not be tolerated. And so everybody that's watching this video, please look at these comments that I allow through and some of the more scathing comments that I receive on these videos. I want you to look at them and realize that these are your HR reps, these are your managers, these are your coworkers, these are your teachers, these are your school administrators, these are your policemen. This is the world that we live in today. And I could not be making this up. Now, Alton Sterling, selling bootlegged CDs, admittedly illegal, and allegedly he had a gun on his person. Not once did he grab for his gun and aim it at the police. He was actually taken down to the ground and was pinned down by 2 officers and then shot in the chest. Philando Castile pulled over for a broken tail light, and he was carrying a gun. He told the officer, as required, that I have a loaded gun, I have a permit to have this gun, I just need to let you know that. I am now going to reach for my wallet. The officer said, do not reach for your wallet. The man was lifting his hands in the air in compliance with that command, and the officer shot him. The saddest part of it all, if that wasn't sad enough, it was a little girl sitting in the back seat. She had witnessed a cold-blooded murder. And it was also being broadcast live on Facebook. Let me go on to some of these comments that I've been getting lately. Number 1, what about black on black crime? We're addressing that. Thank you very much. Just because you don't see us out in the streets lobbying and all that kind of stuff and rioting and protesting against black on black crime does not mean that we are not addressing it. And trust me, because I have made comments publicly on Facebook before I had this YouTube channel about y'all need to be combating black on black crime just as much as this. And I got torn to shreds. And I still held true to my opinion, but then I realized that we're doing something about that. It's just not in the same manner because we know what works for us and we know what works for you. All those white supremacists and racists that are killing black folks. We march. We protest. That's what works for racists. For black on black crime, we mentor. We up our education. We build our own schools. We become foster parents. We adopt children. These are the things that we do to combat black on black crime, because the difference is black on black crime is largely caused by, number 1, joblessness. Joblessness and violent crime are strongly correlated to one another. Number 2, it's largely social issues that are kind of building on one another that cause people to have a blatant disregard for human life. And so we address those things in a different way. All lives matter. Duh. Do you think we're not thinking that? We know all lives matter, just like all cancers matter. But if you see a breast cancer walk or fundraiser or organization, do you just go to them and say, well, all cancers matter? No, you don't. You understand that they are dealing with a certain issue. That is what they're interested in. They have every single right to say that, yes, all of these lives matter, but this is what we specialize in. This is what we choose to concentrate on. All jobs matter, but just because I don't choose to be a social worker and instead I choose to be a lawyer, that does not mean that nothing else is important. Think about what you're saying, people. We understand that, but guess what? Our lives matter too. Black on white crime is higher, right? But guess what? That does not mean that the people who were murdered wrongfully do not matter, and we should not stand in their defense. He had a gun. He had a gun. I believe the Second Amendment says that he has every single right. Each and every one of us have a right to our Second Amendment rights unless you have been convicted of a felony. These people do not have criminal records that would disqualify them for a carry and conceal permit. They have every single right to do that. Y'all seem to want to take away a lot of Black people's rights. Second Amendment right to carry and conceal a weapon, the equal protection under the 14th Amendment, Fifth Amendment right to remain silent and against self-incrimination, the First Amendment right to peaceful protest. Now, I mean peaceful protest, people. I will call my people out when they are wrong. All of these riots and tearing down the cities in which you live, it makes absolutely no sense. Nonetheless, I don't care where you're rioting. It's not right. Do not do that. Do not loot. Do not make us look bad. I'm talking about peaceful protest here, people. Peaceful. Remember that. I don't care what's going on. We are better than that. Period. So, respect authority. So if you don't respect authority, that means you die. That's what people are saying. Oh, he should have obeyed these commands. He shouldn't have broken the law. Okay, you are not the judge, jury, and executioner as a police officer, and just because somebody breaks the law or doesn't obey your commands and is talking back to you, that does not mean you get to kill them because they made you mad or that they hurt your feelings. And if that's the case, then the same argument can be used against the police because they are in fact breaking the law. They in fact are infringing on the Constitution. Deprive someone of life, liberty, or property without due process. You are breaking the law. So does that mean we get to kill you? No, it doesn't mean that. So let's stop with this whole, oh, well, he was breaking the law. Okay. So was the police in that situation, if that's where you want to take it. So does that mean that people get to kill him without a trial? No, it doesn't. So shut that down, okay? And last comment, and then I'm going to go. Wendy Williams. She made a comment on her show about Jesse Williams and his speech at the BET Awards. And she said that, you know, we've got NAACP, HBCUs, and, you know, oh, I would be offended if I saw the NAAWP or historically white colleges. I would be offended, so therefore we shouldn't, you know, be having these kinds of organizations ourselves. Excuse me, ma'am. The reason why these organizations exist is because this is a social organization that is building our community up through ourselves and for ourselves. Okay? There's absolutely nothing wrong with saying, you know what, we were given the short end of the stick from day one. And now we are making resources available to ourselves such that we can pull ourselves up from the bootstraps and support one another. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And then number two, these historically white colleges, I would be offended about that. We already have that. It's called predominantly white institutions, PWIs, which would be all of the non-HBCUs. So we have that already, Wendy Williams. I will leave the URLs to these videos in my description box. Please check them out. Number 2, again, my comments will be pending review for each and every one of them. Your comments will not see the light of day if you come incorrectly. And number 3, I will be letting some racist people through just to let y'all see what kind of crap we have to deal with on a daily basis. Until next time, everyone, love and blessing.